Digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sport Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
Welcome to Ibrox Stadium with myself, Alistair Lamont. Alongside me is Ian McCall as second, host third, and David Gray's in-form Hibernian aim to end a long winless run against Rangers that dates back to February 2018. But Rangers have been found wanting at home of late, losing 4 in a row for the first time in their history, while Hibs haven't tasted defeat in the league since a 3-0 reverse at Celtic Park back in December. Since then, they've been on an upward trajectory with a first third place finish since 2021. Very much a possibility. About 2/3 of the pitch out there bathed in sunshine, but in the shade it's pretty chilly still as Rangers and Hibs prepare to go head to head. Fabulous 3-3 encounter at Easter Road the last time they met in January. Hibs coming from behind, a late Rocky Bashiri goal earning them a point as Hamza Igman notched a hat-trick that day. It's Hibs to kick us off. They're going from left to right as we look at it from the gantry in the main stand, and they're in their usual green and white tops, white shorts, white socks. Rangers in their traditional blue tops, white shorts and red and black socks. And it's Hibernian looking to continue this fabulous run they've been on. 15 games unbeaten in the league, and David Gray very keen to try and make that 16 as Dujon Sterling makes a good challenge on Kuharevich, and it's Václav Černý back in the starting lineup after injury, who picks up and tries to fire the diagonal in the direction of Igman, but Lewis Miller gets the better of him, and now it's Chris Cadden coming forward on the right hand side for Hibernian, tries to play it forward. I don't think Boyle was the target, it almost reached him, but Rangers have one possession. It's Diamondi in the centre of the park playing it to Tavernier as Rangers have switched back to a back four. He's looking for Dessers. Bashiri almost cuts it out, comes to Dessers in the end on the edge of the box, trying to get turned. Now Černý, too many players around him to have the shot. Raskin eventually has a tame effort from about 20 yards, easily gathered by Jordan Smith, which gives us an opportunity to hear the early thoughts of Ian McCall.
Yeah, it was a decent hit. It was a half chance there for Raskin. He didn't quite catch it, but it's interesting that Conor Barring, it's almost a 4-2-1-3 with Conor Barring sitting deep behind Diamondi and Raskin in the midfield.
Yeah, we'll see how that progresses as the afternoon goes on. Hibs in a 4-3-3, with a 5-2-3 effectively, as they look to conjure a first victory here since that win in 2018. A little bit loose in the passing there between Jefty and Barron, eventually picking up, but Rangers, and Ian and I watched them up at Dens Park last weekend. Some of the carelessness that led to the Dundee goals was pretty abject, which Barry Ferguson acknowledged. Some of the bad habits he described creeping back into their play. We'll be looking to avoid that this afternoon. Here they come with Tavernier in an advanced area, plays it into the feet of Diamondi. He's stopped in his tracks though, and Hibs can come forward.
He's offside there, surely.
Martin Boyle will continue his run, he'll pick up possession. The flag stays down for now at least. Dujon Sterling makes a challenge, and a number of seconds later the linesman does flag, and it's one of those ones that most spectators and pundits alike really hate, but the assistants are doing what they're told effectively, Ian, but it is frustrating at times, isn't it?
I think it is, particularly for players. He was literally 5 yards offside there, and obviously had to continue the game on. It's a silly rule, daft rule for me.
Here's Jefty for Igman on the halfway line, left hand side, knocks it back to Suter, and there was Dujon Sterling partnering Suter in that 2 in the middle of the Rangers central defence. Now you've seen Sterling play in a 3 relatively often, but not so much as a 2. See how that works out for them. Here's Jefty coming away from Kuharevich into Raskin, and now back with Barron in the centre circle. Tavernier who got that cracking goal to make it 3-2 at Dens. Out to Czerny, right hand side, up against Obita, into the area he goes, tries to get the ball across goal. It's blocked on its way through and out for a throw in on the far side. Two Rangers just a few yards from the corner flag as they advance down the right. No real test for either keeper as yet, just that one effort from Raskan, which Smith was easily able to deal with. 4 minutes on the clock, and no goals. We'll keep you up to date as best we can with goals that go in around the country. As Tavernier prepares to launch one of these long throws, we're getting to see a bit more of from him. And it comes from the Rangers skipper, near post. Ball is away by Bashiri. Czerny catches it as it falls to him, but it's way over the top from Václav Czerny. Couldn't get the knee over the ball to keep the effort down, and it's into the Rangers fans behind Jordan Smith's goal. 4.5 played, Rangers 0, Hibs 0.
It's certainly half a chance though. You're right though, he just couldn't get it over the ball. You know, every game we see now, people have got long throws. You know, we said the Dundee game, Tavernier's got a long throw all of a sudden, but every single team that we cover seems to have a long throw now.
Dundee 1, St Mirren 0. It's a massive game for both sides, that one. You'll never guess who scored, Ian. Simon Murray,
there's
of
a
course.
Shot. Yeah.
So many vital goals for Dundee since he rejoined in the summer. As Rangers have a player down, is it Jefte, who is taken a sore one, I think, when he landed. And he's been helped back to his feet by a combination of Bashiri and Egeman, and a little bit winded as much as anything else, holding his lower back. But it will be a throw in to Hibernian, and so that the first goal in the Premiership coming at Dens against St Mirren. It's a game they will really feel they have to win, having been so unfortunate. I think most people who watched that game would agree that Dundee deserved to take something from it. I think we mentioned in commentary, and I think it was maybe at 3-2 up, that Tony Docherty would be furious not to win the game, and had to put it to him afterwards that to lose it would be an absolute sickener.
Yeah, that game was summed up when Simon Murray ran through and hit the inside of the post, and a minute later Rangers got to get, I think it was either equalised or the winner. I think it was
the winner. Yeah, it was. An incredible game. Let's hope this game reaches those kind of levels of excitement as Dessers tries to get the ball forward. It falls to Raskan, left hand side. Now it's Egeman, about 25 yards from goal, left of the box. Dessers is still lurking on this left touch line. Back it goes to Jefte, and now with John Souttar midway inside the Hibernian half, into the feet of Diamondi. Tries the little flick on to Czerny, doesn't come off, and Hibs able to pick up through Iredale, who got that famous derby winner against Hearts a few weeks back. His first Hibernian goal. Rangers have picked up possession, they're dominating the ball just at the moment. Rory Loy, who's here on Open All Mike's duty, was just asking the question, how do Hibs approach this game? Do they come out and try and attack Rangers, given that they're in such good spirits, such good fettle form wise, or do they try and sit in, because Rangers have struggled against teams that sit in that low block, Ian? Yeah,
I think there's ways that, Craig was saying before the game, I think there's ways that managers can tell players to sit in a little bit, but say it in a positive manner, and really get at them. When you're going at them, you really get at them, and I think that's how Hibs have set up.
And they have a throw in an advanced area over on the far side, which Obita is going to leave for. Iredale's going to go up and take this one over on the left flank. So about 15 yards from the corner flag, he's waving Bashiri forward. Lewis Miller is looking across to David Gray as if to say, should I go up as well? And Obita drops back. Rangers have pulled everyone back. Hamza Egeman is just on the edge of their own area, but everyone else inside the penalty box as they try and make sure that Hibs don't get the opening goal here. Souttar with a commanding header, comes out to Levitt. Oh, it's through Jack Butland. It's another mistake from Jack Butland, and Hibs have the opener. 8 minutes in, and Ibrox, and Jack Butland with another howler as he lets the ball squirm under his body. It was well hit by Levitt, skimming along the grass, but Butland should have been able to keep it out. He hasn't been able to do so. It's Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Listen, Levitt's caught it really sweetly, and to give Butland a bit of to look back on it, it's come right through a ruck of bodies, but that's me being overly kind. bottom line is he's got to save it. Simple as that.
Jack Butland, he's come up with so many big saves for Rangers, but just lately the mistakes that have crept into his game, yes, the caveats that Ian puts on that one are absolutely fair and correct, but Jack Butland, a keeper of his qualities, will feel he should have been doing better. Well hit by Levitt, but allows it to slip under his body, and Rangers once again will have to come from behind, looking to avoid a 5th straight defeat at Ibrox. It's almost inconceivable that they should be on such a run, but having started the game relatively brightly without massively opening Hibs up, they find themselves a goal down, and Dylan Levitt is on the score sheet for just the 3rd time this season. A really good strike from the Welshman through a ruck of bodies, but Jack Butland got down in plenty time but couldn't keep it out, and Rangers trail, and Hibs have something to hold on to as their band of followers over on the far side. Absolutely delighted, not for the first time in recent times. They're unbeaten in the last 7 away from home in the league as they look to make 3rd spot their own. And David Gray will be absolutely delighted, but will be very aware that Rangers have made a habit also of being able to come from behind. They have to cure this malaise at home, particularly just at the moment, as Conor Barron goes back to do a bit of defending, does well to link with Jeffrey. That's better play from Rangers. Diamondi sends it out to the right hand side to Tavernier, still inside his own half. Hibs leading by a goal to nil. Dylan Levitt with a strike from just outside the penalty area after it looked like Rangers had got back and defended the corner pretty well. Ian, we were saying they had plenty of numbers back. John Suter with a decent header, but Levitt picked it up and rifled it back goalwards and into the back of the net ultimately, as Rangers try and make some headway down the right hand side. Across goes Iredale to stop Tavernier, who blocks the clearance out for a throw-in on that far side. 11 minutes played, Rangers nil, Hibs 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think Levitt's first touch was exemplary, and it set him up perfectly. To be fair to the Rangers players, they got out reasonably close to press the ball. It's managed to have gone through, but ultimately there's nothing in the game. Rangers probably started a little bit better, but they're behind because of a goalie error, and we can't really dress that up, I don't think.
Throw-in taken down the left for Hibernian. Barron returns it up to Dessers, trying to link with Egeman, but it's cleared away by the Hibs defence and picked up by Chris Cadden. Boyle tries to flick it beyond Jeffrey. Across comes Suter, plays it forward but can't find Egeman, and Miller steps in, and it's Chris Cadden once more on the right hand side, just a few yards inside his own half. Back it goes to Lewis Miller. They played well the last time they were at Ibrox. Kujarevich missed a penalty that would have given them the lead. Eventually a Tom Lawrence goal won it as Boyle plays it into the 6-yard box, but Butland on the stretch manages to grasp that one and rolls it out to Tavernier to start a Rangers attack. Plays it over the top for Dessers. Smith out of his penalty area. Can he deal with it? Yes, he can. He just lashes it upfield and out of play over on that far side, but Dessers had beaten the offside trap, just a little bit too much on it, and Smith did well. Good alert goalkeeping, you have to say, to get out of his penalty area and clear the danger. Yeah,
it was. We were right in line as Dessers had timed his run perfectly. He was half a yard onside. Good goalkeeping though.
Egeman into Raskin on the halfway line. He tries to feed it to Diamondi, doesn't reach him though, but Diamondi eventually comes back and picks up the scraps. Raskin for Barron. Suter now out to Tavernier, right hand side on the halfway line. Czerny on the right touchline, up against Obita here, coming infield onto the left foot as he tends to do. Into Raskin now for the flick for Dessers. Chance here for Dessers if he can get the shot away. He couldn't manage to do so. Comes out to Egeman, left hand side, tries to curl it for the top corner. Not too far away, but far enough that Hibs are able to see it behind for a goal kick. 13 on the clock. Rangers nil, Hibs 1.
It's a beautiful little round the corner flick from Raskin. You just felt Dessers could maybe get his shot away just a little bit earlier. He's done well to hold the defender off. I think it was Bashiri, but he just couldn't quite get his shot off.
Yeah, the Rangers fans a little bit frustrated at that, I think. And Dessers had so many efforts on goal at Dens Park before arguably scoring the most difficult chance of them all to win it for Rangers in injury time. I'll be hoping his ratio of goals to chances are a bit higher this afternoon, but Rangers continue to trail by that early Dylan Levitt goal 2-0, and they've conceded a free kick inside their own half here, which Hibernian will throw forward the likes of Bashiri once more to try and cause some issues in that Rangers backline, which has been pretty porous of late. They have conceded 2 or more in 5 straight league games prior to today. That was for the first time since 1986. If they do it again today, it'll be another unwanted record that's been equalled. They've only done it once in their history, and that was in the 19th century, as Egeman plays it forward for Czerny. He's forced out to the right hand side. He's up against Iredale here, running at Iredale. Into the box he goes, tries to play it back into Egeman. It's blocked on its way through. Levitt almost loses out to Egeman, but the ball's eventually cleared out to that far side, and it'll be a Hibs throw-in. But the Rangers defence has had its issues. It was December 1893 to April 1894 when they conceded 2 or more in 6 straight league games. It's the only time they've ever done it, but there's every chance here, and you'd have to say the way things are going for them at the moment, it'll happen again.
Well, listen, it was a great example there, the last free kick Hibs had. Jeffrey's just retreated into the box. Martin Boyle has just played a little ball down the channel, and Cadden's there all on his own. Absolutely no left back or a covering player in that area.
Yeah, Jeffrey's positional play has been somewhat questionable at times. I think back to the goal, the second goal that Motherwell scored here in the recent win. He was posted missing, but he's in this afternoon with Ridvan Yilmaz out of the squad altogether. He had a pretty poor game at Dens Park, eventually been replaced by the Brazilian. Not sure if he's out today because of an injury or for tactical reasons, but certainly not on the bench, as Hibs get themselves a throw-in over on the far side. We've played quarter of an hour, Hibs with the advantage thanks to Dylan Levitt's early goal, and Jack Butland another error, you'd have to say, as much as it was a good strike from Levitt, as Hoylett picks up just outside the Rangers penalty. Out to the right hand side it comes to Cadden, almost at the corner flag, back for Boyle, first time ball in. Barron gets something on it, a little bit fortunate for Rangers that it fell to Diamondi. Barron tries to come forward. He didn't have a great game at Dens either. He was taken off at half time, and he hasn't started this one particularly well. He's given the ball away again as Levitt plays it in. He's looking for Kuharevich there at the back post. It's just a little bit too much on the pass from Levitt, who's enjoying this game so far with the only goal of the game. 16 and a half in, that ball goes out for a goal kick, which Rangers have quickly taken. Suter out to the left hand side for Egeman, clips that up looking for Dessers, but Bashiri easily able to cut it out. Dessers unhappy with the service up to him as Triantis plays it into the feet of Kuharevich, back the way to Iredale, brings it forward again. Boyle looks like he's offside. It will go all the way through to Butland anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Barry Ferguson is very animated once more down in his technical area, and he's frustrated once again with what he's seen from his side.
Yes, they're not putting enough pressure on the ball in the middle of the park, the middle third of the park. And I do think I've got to say, Al Raskin for me is wasted not playing the deeper one. I know he will get forward, maybe get 1 or 2 goals, but I think he's the one that the game's got to go through.
Here's Egeman, left hand side up against Cadden, nudges it back to Barron, midway inside the Hibs half. He goes back the way to Suter, and out to the left hand side now with Egeman once more. Barron again playing it back the way to the halfway line to Suter. Dujon Sterling's square of him, and he plays it on to Czerny in a more central area, nudges it to his left to Raskan, and now it's Diamondi looking to open things up. Czerny's taking up a position again on that right hand side, looking to weave his way past the Hibs defenders. Important for Rangers to get him back ahead of the visit of Athletic Bilbao on Thursday, as Raskan pops up on the right hand side. Back with Sterling now. Rangers looking for a way through a well organised Hibs unit. Suter plays it square just a few yards inside the Hibs half to Jefty, and now it's Egeman. A chance to run it. Cadden into the inside area he comes, tries to play the pass to Raskin, it's cut out. Jefty gets it to Barron, Midway inside Hibs half still. Hibs well organised as Hoylett goes and closes Tavernier down. Now it's Dujon Sterling out to Czerny, right hand side once more up against Obita, takes him on the outside, he's got the better of him, tries to play it into the box on his right foot, and Iredale easily cuts that out and just thumps it over the halfway line. Hibs look, as I say, well organised. Ian, it's going to take something special from Rangers to be able to break them down.
I agreed. I mean, I've seen this movie before. You know, Rangers are having a lot of the ball. You know, they're getting into the last third. Crossing's not good enough. There's not getting enough bodies into the box. Hibs look really well organised. The only Kuruvejic stays up the pitch. Everybody else is behind the ball when Rangers are in possession.
Tavernier looking to lift it over the top. Dessers can't get past Bashiri's, claiming he was blocked off there, but the Hibs defender looked to just be holding his ground. Dessers saying he was using an arm to hold him off, but I think it was just a case of Bashiri doing a good bit of defensive work there.
It was really good defending, and he was just too strong for Dessers.
19 and a half on the clock then. Rangers still trailing by the early Dylan Levitt strike to nil. The only other goal in the Premiership as things stand is at Dens Park, where Dundee leads St Mirren by a goal to nil. That'll be a major blow to St Mirren's hopes of getting into the top six if they can't come back from that deficit, as Barron has it, gets it back from Diamondi right hand side into Czerny. He tries to flick it infield, but it's picked up by Triantis, and he brings it forward to Martin Boyle on the halfway line. Comes back the way to Lewis Miller, and all the way back to Smith in the Hibs goal. Out to the left hand side, it's a good ball onto the chest of Obita. He plays it to Hoylett. They got the opener against St Johnstone last weekend, challenged there by Sterling, and it's come off Hoylett last, and the throw-in goes Rangers' way. 20 minutes gone. Rangers 0, Hibs 1. Dylan Levitt with the only goal. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland as Jefty plays it to Egeman up against Cadden once more. Infield, it's a loose ball. Raskan can't gather it. Hibs have it. It's Triantis, who's started every game since rejoining on loan from Sunderland. Cadden well challenged by Egeman, who'd given the ball away in the first instance, and Barry Ferguson still patrolling his technical area as Kilmarnock have scored against Motherwell. It's a big goal for them. 1-0 they lead Motherwell as Hibs prepare to take the throw in here. Back the way it goes to Jordan Smith, the Hibs goalkeeper, closed down by Dessers. Plays it forward looking for Hoylett. Sterling nips in front of him, and he was being dragged back there, but he managed to get the ball out to Czerny. Another chance to run at Obita. Obita backing off once more against Czerny goes on the outside, but Obita just stands his ground and is able to nick the ball off him, and Hibs clear up to Hoylett just inside his own half, left hand side into Triantis. He just cleverly leaves it for Levitt, the goal scorer. 22 minutes almost on the clock. Levitt's goal still the difference between the sides, as David Gray and his goalkeeping coach Craig Sampson just a little discussion on the edge of their technical area, but they'll be well pleased by the way things are going, albeit they'd probably prefer to have a little bit more of the ball, but still you'd have to say they're in control of the game. They haven't been threatened particularly by Rangers in an attacking sense, as Barron picks up on the halfway line, gets it back from Raskan, and then back with Dujon Sterling. Czerny again looking for it out on the right hand side, but Sterling tries to arrow it out to Egeman. It's a good ball, but Egeman just seemed to be on his heels there. I'm not sure he anticipated getting all the way through to him, and out for a throw in to Hibernian about 20 yards from their corner flag on the right hand side as we reach the midway point in the first period. Lewis Miller preparing to take the goal kick. Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Egeman just looks like a player that's playing a little bit out of position. I don't think he looks really comfortable coming into the wide areas on the left hand side, and that was a good pass from Sterling. He should certainly get hold of that one.
Simon Murray got the Dundee goal, Fraser Murray's got the Kelly goal, and Dylan Levitt has got the Hibs goal here to give Hibernian the advantage. If Rangers were to lose today, then Celtic could win the league pre-split. If they can beat St Johnstone tomorrow, they could then win it at home to Kilmarnock the following weekend, and clearly it's a case of when and not if, as Dessers tries to get the better of Bashiri again. It's good strong defending as Bashiri just able to see the ball through to Jordan Smith as the ball was played down the right channel, but Dessers couldn't get the better of Bashiri on that occasion either, and Hibs continue with their lead intact. 1-0 they lead.
Terrific again from Bashiri. Really good physical defending, and he's got to stay concentrated because Dessers good movement again.
Boyle again looks about 5 yards offside, and the flag goes up relatively quickly that time to confirm that, as Raskin picks up on the free kick. Tavernier wanted it right hand side, eventually he gets it from Conor Barron. It's a good switch of play from Barron, and now Tavernier gets his head up and plays it infield to Czerny, midway inside the Hibs half. Rangers looking for an equaliser as Tavernier has it. Lawrence, who got the equaliser last weekend, not on the squad today either, as Jefty gets the break of the ball off Cadden, left hand side into the penalty area he comes, into the middle. It's Bashiri again who's in the way. Such an important player he's turned into for Hibs. He's coming towards the end of his contract. He was unwilling to go into any details about where his future might lie beyond the summer, but all of a sudden he's a guy that a number of clubs might well be looking at, whereas previously a little bit more of a liability. But he's a huge player now for Hibernian in this 15-game unbeaten run in the league, which they're looking to extend as Czerny picks up for Rangers. He batters it goalwards, but it's easily blocked, and it breaks out to Sterling, right hand side, clipped by Kuharevich. Rangers will have the free kick right out in the touchline right hand side, midway inside the Hibs half. An opportunity for them to put the ball into the box with 25 on the clock, and still they trail by a 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to put it in the box, but there's not many real dominant targets for them to hit. It's just there's something wrong with the Rangers shape. It's just not, for me, it's not quite working just now.
They've not really settled in a shape as yet. No. Barry Ferguson and his coaching staff, they've gone between the three at the back, or 5 at the back, and the 4 as they're playing today. But even in advance of that, it doesn't quite feel that they've got the balance right. But they've a chance here to put it into the box, as we hear that Kofi Bammer's been sent off for Motherwell as they trail at Rugby Park. The ball into the box is headed away out of the box once more by Kuharevich. Good defending by the big striker, the Ukrainian, and back to help his side out at the other end as Tavernier gets the ball to Czerny. He plays it off Hoylett. It'll be a Rangers throw in, quickly taken into Barron. Barron stumbles on the ball but does manage to squeeze it back to Tavernier, not once but twice. Tavernier goes back to Sterling, about 15 yards inside the Hibs half. Now it's Raskin. Sterling once more looking for options, tries to step away from Kuharevich once again, gets it out to Czerny. Rangers having plenty of possession, but yet to really threaten Jordan Smith and the Hibs goal as they trail by a 0-0. Now it's Jeffrey left hand side out to Eagman, about 20 yards from the Hibs goal. Plays it infield to Raskin, tries the angle ball out to Czerny. It's a good one if he's onside. Play continues as Czerny tries to get it into the box. It's a pretty poor effort to find a teammate, and Hibs clear up towards Kuharevich, who's backing into Sterling. Bit of 50-50 there, and the referee says just get on with it as Czerny picks up right hand side, comes inside. Obita tries to thread it. Tavernier looking for Dessers on the angle. Great save from Smith. It was a very tight angle, but Smith diverts that away from goal. I think that might have been heading for the back of the net. Dessers denied. 27 in, Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
It's great move. Could you cut it back to Tavernier? I thought Tavernier had a tap, and I'd love to see again, but lovely little round the corner flick. First time you've seen Czerny really open up and hurt Hibs. Nice little ball inside, but great save from Smith.
Yeah, he got down ever so quickly to get the crucial touch. There might well have been an opportunity to cut that back for Tavernier, who's played him in, but Dessers went for goal himself, looking to add to his 23 goals for the season. Denied by Jordan Smith. First time he's seriously been called into action in the opening 28 minutes, as Rangers have a corner here on the left hand side to be taken by Václav Czerny. Tavernier offers himself short, but Czerny sends it in towards the back post, and it's easily won with no Rangers player anywhere near that delivery as Kuharevich sends it clear. Picked up again by Rangers though, and Tavernier gets it back out to the left to Czerny. Steps away from Hoylett, curls it in. Dessers is there. Oh, it looked like he could have got there first, and then Hibs able to get the clearance in, and the offside flags up in any case as a Hibs player down. Is it Iredale who made the interception there ahead of Dessers inside the penalty area, who's just taken a clip there from Dessers as he tried to win it back. Indeed, he's back on his feet. Hibs will have the free kick. We've played almost 29 minutes and it's still Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, I think Dessers was offside, and then he's quite clearly kicked Iredale from the back. Oh, it's not a booking or anything like that, but it was a definite foul. The Rangers have upped it a wee bit in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and I think it's important to say that it was a great save from Smith, but Butland's not had to make any saves either. All he's had to do is pick that one out of the net.
Yep, letting the Dylan Levitt shot squirm under his body as Hibernian take the lead in the early stages. Here's Rangers coming forward. It's Dessers with the opportunity here. He's missed the target. He was under pressure there from Bashiri, and Dessers going down in the challenge, but he's blasted high and wide from about no more than 14 yards out. Bashiri again maybe just doing enough to put him off here, but you have to feel that Dessers has to hit the target there.
Well, I go further. I think he's got to score. I mean, I think it's in games like this when you're playing against teams in and around you, when some of the bigger clubs come to Ibrox, your Hibs, your Hearts, your Celtic, that getting one goal out of 5 or 6 chances, it ain't enough. And Boucherie, you can say he did well, but ultimately he's 1-on-1 with the goalie. I think Czerny was looking for the wall a wee bit earlier from Eagleman, but it's a beautiful pass from Eagleman. He just hits the target. It's a goal. That's 2 chances now. 1 good save by Smith and 1 blazed over the top.
Just in the last few minutes, as Ian says, Rangers have upped the ante somewhat and probably should be back on level terms, but Dessers denied once by Smith, and then on that occasion blazing wide of the target when he should have been doing better. So still it's 1-0 in the half-hour mark as Rangers come forward once more, picking up the loose ball in midfield. Czerny gets it to Dessers, out to Barron, midway inside the Hibs half, out to the right hand side. It's Eagleman who's challenged by Iredale at the expense of a corner to Rangers, and you do feel that an equaliser is in the offing, but Rangers have to be more clinical in front of goal when they get the opportunity.
It's come from as well 2 or 3 little, where Rangers excel, 2 or 3 little transitions in the middle of the park, mistake from a Hibernian player, and Rangers are in behind the midfield, and that's when they excel. They get at teams really quickly.
They've crammed the 6-yard box. Just about everyone is inside that. Don Robertson's going to have to be very watchful here, with VAR potentially having to keep a close eye on this as well in the shape of Kevin Clancy, but there must be a good dozen players inside that 6-yard box as Czerny prepares to swing it in with the left foot from the right hand side. So it will be that in-swinger, you feel, as Don Robertson just speaks to Jack Iredale, just telling him what's expected of him and his Hibs defenders inside that 6-yard box as this corner is sent in. Tavernier's on the angle, but it is swung in right on top of the keeper. Bashiri gets first contact at the near post. Diamondi trying to make something of it, but Don Robertson is pointed for a Hibs free kick now. Bashiri goes down, holding his head, but it was a brilliant header at the near post, and exactly what you would want of your biggest, most commanding defender, getting that first contact, and ultimately Hibs win the free kick, and it remains with 13 minutes left of this first period. Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
It was terrific again from Bashiri. He's in a good position. I mean, he's headed that. He was only 2 yards off the line and he's got his head on it. I'm not sure it was a foul from Diamondi the referee gave, but again, real good, strong defending from Bashiri.
Free kick taken in by Jordan Smith, won by Raskin, and he's got a good leap for a relatively small player, as he showed at Celtic Park with the opening goal there. His side trail here as Tavernier plays it forward. Dessers looking to get on the end of it. He stumbles under the challenge, but he was offside as the ball came through, as Iredale and Bashiri dragged Dessers to his feet a little bit roughly perhaps, but Dessers signals the thumbs up to Tavernier for the intent with the ball forward, but he was just offside, and Hibs will have another free kick deep in their own territory. 12 minutes left in the opening period, and the visitors lead by a 1-0, trying to get that first victory here. They've been beaten actually in the last 11 visits to Ibrox since a 1-1 draw in December of 2018. That came 10 months after their last victory here, as Rangers win the free kick in the middle of the park. Diamondi going down more or less on the halfway line, and Rangers quickly take the free kick, anxious to be at least on level terms going in at the break. It hasn't been a terrible Rangers performance, particularly in the last 10 or 15 minutes, but just the loss of that early goal is proving damaging at the moment, as Jefty takes a quick throw into Egeman, back to the halfway line to Suter. Egeman coming deep to take it back, and then puts it back to Suter. Back infield to Sterling, just takes his eye off it momentarily, midway inside his own half, then brings it forward up to the edge of the centre circle and out to the right hand side to Tavernier. Tavernier back to Sterling again, just 10 yards or so inside his own half, square for John Suter, who brings it over the halfway line and plays it out to Jefty. Egeman makes the run forward, can't get it beyond Cadden, it's out of play for a Rangers throw.
Rangers have made a little switch with Rascan going back in and playing as a pivot right in front of the back four, and Conor Barron's pushed on a wee bit.
Aberdeen are taking the lead in Dingwall against Ross County. Shaden Morris, the opening goal. So goals in all the Premiership games. You'll see highlights, of course, on Sportscene on the BBC Scotland channel from 7:15 tonight. Hibs fans will be hoping they can tune in to watch a rerun of a victory, but they've got a bit of work to do to make sure that happens, as Czerny tries to send it into the box. It's blocked again right in front of him, and it's broken to the halfway line to Sterling, who gets it back from Suter and then feeds it back out to Czerny. He's up against Obita once more. He comes in field away from both him and this Diamondi tries to play it round the corner. The referee has spotted a foul there by Triantis, as Diamondi just tried to flick that to a teammate, and Rangers have got a free kick in a really promising position, very much James Tavernier territory, although Czerny is, I don't know why he's taken that so quickly with Don Robertson still looking at Mohamed Diamondi, who's still on the ground. There's absolutely no way that quick free kick was going to be allowed to stand, but it
was a free kick as well. I mean, he's tried to flick it around the corner. I knew Diamondi wasn't injured though. He's up now, but it certainly is Tavernier territory, just on his right foot. Perfect side for that, on the left hand side of the box.
Yeah, just slightly left to centre. Czerny looked like he fancied it, but he's stepping away now, and Tavernier the only player over the ball as he looks to add to the goal he scored to get Rangers back into it at Dens. That was to make it 3-2, looking to get Rangers back to 1-1. Czerny's got back over the ball as well. Rascan's there as well, with Hibs lining up a four-man wall, and Dylan Levitt lying just behind it to prevent the low effort. But again, Tavernier looks like the only show in town. Rangers have got a couple of men just in front of the wall as Tavernier goes for it, but it's too high, just over the top from the Rangers captain. And so with almost 37 minutes played at Ibrox, it's still Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Just came down a little bit late there. I mean, I think even when it came off his foot, we knew it wasn't going in, but it was still a decent effort. It was about a foot high from that top corner.
Here's Levitt at the edge of his own penalty area, tries to thread it forward. It's a poor pass though, and it's picked off by Rascan. Czerny tries the flick for Dessers, doesn't quite come off. Levitt picks up once more at the edge of his box. Miller can't get it to Cadden, and Egeman was almost in, but Hibs clear their lines. Butland comes out of his box to just knock that to Sterling, who tries to lose Martin Boyle. Tavernier taking a bit of a chance up against Hoylett there. It's going to be a Hibs throw-in out on the far side, as Hoylett takes that back to Triantis. Tavernier steps in once more and knocks it out of play. Another Hibs throw-in midway inside the Rangers half, left hand side. 7.5 minutes left in this first half. Rangers 0, Hibs 1. Dylan Levitt's goal after just 8 minutes, as the ball's behind for a Rangers goal kick. Quickly taken again by Butland, who was at fault for the Levitt strike. Good enough hit, but the big Englishman will feel he should have been keeping it out. Here's Egeman left hand side for Rangers, looking for the equaliser then. They've had 2 or 3 decent efforts since that Hibs goal went in. Here's Czerny on the edge of the box, looking to lose Hoylett. Right hand side into the area it comes. Dessers is there, can he get the shot off? It's blocked initially. Barron's there, but he can't get a shot in either, and it's just hacked away over the halfway line by that stout Hibs defence. only the top two have scored more than Hibs in the league this season, but defensively they've been pretty good as well. They've actually already surpassed their points total for last season, such as their good run been of late. They're having to defend again here as Tavernier finds Czerny on the angle of the box, threads it into Diamondi, who's had a relatively quiet game, and he is out-muscled there, can't find a teammate with a pass, and here come Hibs on the counter. It's Hoylett just inside his own half. It breaks kindly for Kuharevich over on the left hand side, comes back the way and then finds Lewis Miller, closed down by Egeman, but gets the pass off to Triantis, and now out to the right hand side to Cadden. Cadden's got Boyle in support and he just leaves it to him about 25 yards from the goal line. Tries to take on Jeffrey, finds room for the cross, a good ball. Sterling heads it to the edge of the box. Barron helps it on, it's a good ball actually for Czerny, and now Rangers are 2-on-2. Czerny up against Iredale, pokes it to Dessers. Dessers on the left foot, blazes it way off target once again. And Rangers continue in vain to search for that equalising goal. 40 minutes almost played here at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
It's got to be said, Rangers are really unfortunately behind. I mean, Jack Bolton's had absolutely nothing to do. Hibs have been really compact, really good defensively, but haven't really offered a threat going forward. Rangers have had 3 or 4, well, Cyril Dessers had 3 really good chances.
Yeah, I mean, that was a decent chance, that one. He opted to take it on early from outside the box on his left foot, and possibly you would say the odds were against him hitting the target from there, with Bashiri coming across to close him down. But it was a promising counter, certainly. Rangers had 2-on-2. Czerny found Dessers, but the shot in the end didn't trouble Jordan Smith, and so with under 5 minutes left in the half, it's still Hibs with the advantage given to them by Dylan Levitt's 8th minute goal, as Rangers pick up possession once more. On the right hand side, it's Czerny, who's been pretty lively, and he's come back from the hamstring injury that kept him out at Dens. Picked up on international duty. Suter with a nice diagonal out to the left hand side. Jefty well forward, just a few yards from the byline. Thought he had the beating of Cadden there. He could have got the ball in. He tried to beat him on the outside again, and Cadden recovered, but Raskans managed to nod that into Diamondi midway inside the Hibs half. Pokes it forward to Barron, and now Diamondi picks up once more out to the left hand side for Raskan, looking for a bit of movement ahead of him. Not too many decent options. He has to go short to Diamondi. Now Egeman tries the nutmeg on Miller, doesn't come off. Boyle picks up possession and tries to drive Hibs forward. He gets the better of Tavernier. Was he clipped there by the Rangers captain? He was, and Tavernier goes into the book for that trip. Didn't look to be an awful lot in it, but clearly enough for the referee to think that was worth a booking, and a free kick goes Hibs' way and just allows them a little bit of respite, because as you say, and they have been largely on the back foot since that opening goal.
Yes, I mean that's what Boyle does really, really well. He tries to get Hibs up the pitch, and it looked a soft one from here. I don't know if there was much contact. Certainly Martin Boyle's up, no problem, and I think there was just slight contact, but Don Robertson was perfectly positioned to call it. Whether it was a booking or not, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to assume the yellow card's given for stopping a promising attack, but it was well back the pitch inside their own half, and maybe a little bit harsh from our vantage point, but as you say, Don Robertson in a better position than us to judge that, so we'll take his word for it, as Hibs try to get the ball forward, but it's a loose pass and behind for a goal kick. Barry Ferguson and Billy Dodds in conversation now as the minutes tick down towards half time, and their side still trail by a goal to nil as Suter picks up inside his own penalty area. Back to Butland inside his 6-yard box. Is there a case to be made, Ian, given the mistakes that have crept into Jack Butland's game?
Yes, there is.
What am I going to say?
The other goalkeeper coming in,
Liam Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I think Barry thinks because he's so experienced he won't let it affect him, and you know, whilst he has made 3 or 4 real bad errors, he has done really well in other games, but these are really, really costly.
Here comes Jefty forward up towards the halfway line for Diamondi. Almost showed too much of that to Hoylett, who took a sore one as Diamondi slid in to get the pass off. Rangers continue to come forward. Czerny into the box on the outside once more against the beat out, does enough to get the challenge in, and Bashiri think ultimately it's gone behind off Obita as Bashiri completed the clearance, and Rangers will have the corner kick. I think Hibs just complaining slightly about the Diamondi challenge. I mean, it's one of those ones where he takes plenty of the ball, but the follow through took him into Hoylett, who took a sore one. But
I think the fact that he was trying to make a pass rather than a tackle, that's how he got away with it, and he did get the pass away.
Here's Czerny then from the right hand side, swings it right into the near post, but Smith is able to come off his line and clutch that one pretty comfortably. So many bodies inside the 6-yard box, but none of them could get there before Jordan Smith. And so with just seconds left of the 45, we'll see how many minutes are to be added on in stoppage time. Not too many, I wouldn't have thought. It's still Rangers 0, Hibernian 1, as the ball's played up and allowed to bounce by Sterling, but he does get the first header on it ahead of Kukarevich as it's knocked back to Butland by Tavernier up to the halfway line. Czerny can't get there ahead of Obita. Barron does help it on, but Iredale cuts it out before Dessers can latch onto it. Now it's Jefty picking up just inside his own half. Can Rangers manufacture a final opening then in this first period to bring about the equaliser? Diamondi goes down. I didn't think there was all that much in that challenge. He goes down and gets the free kick. It's quickly taken by Egeman. It's a poor one though, looking for Diamondi. Miller steps across him and gets the ball up to Kuharevich. He's challenged by Barron. Cadden will pick up down this right flank. There's no real support. Across comes Suter and knocks it back to his goalkeeper. 3 minutes actually added on. Hasn't been too many stoppages in the game, but 3 minutes indicated by Ross Hardy, the fourth official, and we're into those right now. Rangers 0, Hibs 1 as we approach half time. Suter into Barron, who plays it back to Sterling and out to the right hand side to Tavernier, just inside the Hibs half, plays it off Obita and out on that far side for a Rangers throw-in. Back the way it goes quickly from Tavernier to Sterling. It'll be an interesting reaction at half time if the scoreline remains at 1-0, with Rangers staring down the barrel of a fifth straight defeat at Ibrox, the first time that will ever have happened. Plenty of time for them to get back into it, but Hibs have been stubborn in defence so far as Raskan sends it out to the left hand side. Jefty in absolutely acres of space, brings it under control, hoists it into the box. Iredale gets first to it, picked up by Hoylett, who plays it into space for Obita to just hammer it forward over the halfway line. Down goes Kuharevich off the ball. The referee has a look at it and isn't particularly interested. Kuharevich not happy. Rangers play on. Raskan has it back to Sterling just inside his own half. 90 seconds remaining of stoppage time as Suter's fouled by Triantis there. Rangers have a free kick just inside their own half. 1-0 Hibs.
Barry Ferguson's going mad, but Jefty is on all the time. He's not taking up high enough positions though. You know, he's standing 10 yards back from where he should be. It's as if he doesn't want the ball. You know, I'm probably wrong about that, but that's what it looked like.
Czerny right hand side tries to play it into Dessers, who's growing more and more frustrated. Hibs could be through on the counter-attack if Martin Boyle had been released there by Hoylett. He didn't spot him or didn't fancy the pass, and eventually plays it out on that far side off a Rangers player. It's going to be a Hibs throw. It's half time at Dens and it's 1-0 Dundee against St Mirren. You'll get all the classified half times around the country from Kenny McIntyre at the interval here. We're inside the final minute of stoppage time. The Rangers trailing by a goal to nil. Dylan Levitt with the only goal of the game so far. It came after 8 minutes. Really the only effort on goal that Hibs have had in the opening 45 plus stoppage time. Rangers have had 2 or 3 but unable to find an equaliser. Is there one final chance in the half as Suter gets the ball out to Tavernier? He was caught slightly late there by Hoylett. The ball through for Suter, who is through for Dessers, who can't latch on to it. Jordan Smith out to the edge of his penalty area to dive on it, smother the ball, and in the final knockings of this first period, Rangers' frustration continues as they trail by a goal to nil.
Yeah, that was again. It wasn't Bashiri this time. It was Lewis Miller, who looks like a real top athlete. The back three for Hibs has been absolutely excellent.
There's a half-time whistle and a few muted boos perhaps. Rangers' performance hasn't been all that bad, but Hibs crucially have got the only goal of the game, and it came after 8 minutes as the corner kick from the left-hand side was cleared by John Suter to the edge of the box. Dylan Levitt took a touch, rifled it low towards goal through a ruck of players, and although Jack Butland went down to his right-hand side and looked to have got down quickly enough to keep it out, that squirmed under his body and into the back of the net for the opening goal. Rangers' response has been decent enough, and they have created opportunities. Dessers particularly has had 2 or 3. His best effort was just before the half-hour mark. A strike on the angle, a tight angle at that, and a good Jordan Smith save to send it out for a corner. He's had another couple that have gone wildly off target. Tavernier sent a free kick from 25 yards just over the top. Rangers haven't been able to muster the equaliser, and so they trail at the break. It's Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Until 5:30, we're on the radio right through until 7 o'clock. We'll get the fans joining us tonight. First up will be a Kilmarnock fan. Will he be delighted? Will he see some sort of change today? Will he have a bit more optimism if they can hang on and beat 10-man Motherwell this afternoon? All that to come right up until 7 o'clock on BBC Radio Scotland. We are now going to bring you all the half-time scores and a full roundup of all the games. Plenty happening right across the country.
Chance! And it's a goal! Oh, what a goal!
All the action from all the biggest games.
Oh, it's the second goal!
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Yes, plenty of drama already in the first halves across the country this afternoon. I'll give you all the scores in the next couple of minutes. Our commentary match this afternoon comes from Ibrox. Rangers at home to Hibs. Let's hear from Ian McCall and Alistair Lamont.
Hi Kenny, half-time at Ibrox. It's Rangers 0, Hibernian 1. Rangers heading towards a 5th successive defeat at home for the first time in their history, and the goal that has given Hibernian the lead came as early as 8 minutes when a corner was cleared to the edge of the penalty area, picked up by Dylan Levitt, who struck it pretty sweetly. A low ball skimming across the grass. It went through a ruck of players, but it looked like Jack Butland had got down and would have been able to keep it out, but it squirmed under his body. It's another error by the Rangers keeper, who has allowed mistakes to creep into his game in recent months, and that has given Hibernian the advantage at half-time. Rangers have created opportunities and have dominated the game, particularly since that goal when Cyril Dessers had a couple of really decent chances. His best effort came just before the half hour on a tight angle. He looked to have hit the target, but it was kept out and turned round the post by Jordan Smith, the Hibs keeper. Really the only save of note he's had to make. The other Dessers opportunities have been blazed off target, as has a James Tavernier free kick that went just over the crossbar. So Ian McCall, watching that first half, we've been talking about it not being a terrible performance by Rangers, but ultimately they haven't been able to find the equalising goal, and Hibs have the advantage.
Yeah, they have. I mean, the Hibernian back three has been excellent. The Hoylett and Boyle playing behind Kukarevich are working ever so hard behind the ball, and almost, I'm not saying they're sitting in, but you know, when the Rangers lose possession, they try to get at Rangers. Rangers down the left hand side, Eagleman looks as if he's playing out of position. Jefty's defending in isolation, i.e. 1-on-1. I don't think is good enough for Rangers. Yeah, it comes down to as well. Dessers has had 3 chances. I know you thought one of them was Hardall. I think if you've got a number 9 in your back, you play with Rangers, I think you've either got to go and try and cut in and score with the right foot, or hit the target with your left. The other 2 chances, he did well with one. Another one's he's just got to score. Ultimately, the game comes down to a goalkeeping error. I mean, I think, you know, it came through a ruck of bodies. I don't think it was as big a howler as the last couple, but in itself, even saying that is a bit damning. Rangers have been okay. I think changing Raskin for Barron and Raskin playing the deeper one, I think they've got to go at that. I think he's more positive and he can still get up the pitch from there. Rangers haven't been poor. Hibs have defended really well and they've got a little bit fortunate with their goal.
Yeah, they have, but they do have the advantage, looking for a first win in their last 25 meetings with Rangers, a first victory here since December 2018. If they can hold on or indeed add to their advantage at half-time, it is Rangers 0, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, Hibs ahead there. A dreadful error from Jack Butland once again from the Rangers keeper. Let's then get to Dingwall. Ross County at home to Aberdeen. Get the half-time report from John Robertson.
Yes, and it's the visitors who are the happier team here. They lead by that one goal. It was Ross County started well though. The first 15 minutes they were on the front foot, some lovely passes of play. Only the one real effort to speak of, the ball whipped in, and Jordan White's header from 14 yards was straight at Ross doing a comfortable save. Aberdeen slowly got themselves into the game, and the first chance they had was an effort from Nisbet, who shot across the goals. It was blocked. The follow-up was scrambled away by the Ross County defence. Then Shane Morris was put clean through, but big Jordan Amisa came out and managed to block that effort. And then after 33 minutes we got the goal, and what a goal it was. Ross County were on the attack at a corner. It was played in, it was knocked down. It was cleared to about 30 yards out, where Shane Morris picked up, and he just ran down the right hand wing and just knocked it past Lapata, left him for dead with his pace, kept going despite 3 county players chasing him. He cut in from the right hand side, and from an acute angle he smashed the ball high in off the crossbar and into the roof of the net, and the Aberdeen fans behind the goals went into overdrive. Nisbet then had the half chance. 2 minutes later he got through, he miscued his shot to put Aberdeen further ahead, and then with just 5 minutes in the to go, Ross County showed their teeth again. The ball dropped to Conor Randall, who smashed a shot from 25 yards, about a foot over the bar. But it's the Aberdeen fans that are joyous at half time. They're bouncing behind the goal because they lead at the interval. It's Ross County 0, Aberdeen 1.
Next stop, Rugby Park, Kilmarnock at home to Motherwell. Let's get the half time report from Chick Young.
Well, in the background you can hear AC/DC playing Highway to Hell. Kilmarnock fans thought that's what they were on at the start of this game. Perhaps not, maybe not at all, because they're leading by 1-0. That goal came after 22 minutes. Fraser Murray, the scorer, after an effort was touched onto the post by Ellery Balcom. There was a bit of a scramble inside the box, and it was forced over the line by Murray to give Cully a lead. In the wake of that, just 3 minutes after that, in fact, there was the most dramatic moment probably of the first half. Kilmarnock, Motherwell rather, were put down to 10 men. Kofi Bammer red carded. I now have had a look at it as well as my chums in the studio, and it's as ridiculous as I thought it was at the time. The game was stopped, and there was an announcement about VAR having a look at a possible red card, and so it turned out to be. He was sent off, but for me the challenge was, I'm not even sure it was worthy of a yellow card. In any case, Motherwell down to 10 men. Kilmarnock with a real grip on the game, and so hopefully there's supporters cheering up a bit. They began this by putting up a banner on the stand that said relegation pending. At the moment there looks to be a bit of relief for that, although 45 minutes, as we know, Kenny, is a long time in Scottish football. Anything could happen this afternoon, but as we stand at Rugby Park at the moment, it is Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 0.
Thanks to Chick. Just an update then from VAR HQ. VAR recommended an on-field review for serious foul play. In the opinion of VAR, the challenge endangered the safety of the opponent. We'll get more on that later in the programme. Certainly a contentious issue. You can watch that on Sports Scene this evening. Let's then get to Dens Park. A huge game there. Dundee at home to St Mirren. Let's hear from Willie Miller.
It is, Kenny, vital for both teams here. Dundee hoping to get that little bit closer to Ross County. They would go, if the scoreline says the same, just 1 point behind them, so that is obviously the target. And believe it or not, and it's not a phrase you hear very often, but Dundee are defending particularly well this afternoon. They got the opening goal, and as it stands at half time, it's 1-0 for the home side, and it was in 82 seconds, a very, very quick one. Simon Murray had a woomy down the right hand side, puts the shot in. Not a particularly vicious shot. It was blocked, but not cleared properly. It was only blocked right into the path of Simon Murray, who from perhaps 10-12 yards out just struck it into the back of the net. He wasn't going to miss that opportunity. Any other chances for Dundee in the first half? No, nothing clear. Plenty of the ball and good crosses into the box, or at least crosses into the box. Don't know if they've been particularly good or effective, because it hasn't really troubled the goalkeeper. For the visitors, Mark O'Hara had a shot early in the game that was curiously blocked, by Carson with his knee on the goal line. Killian Phillips probably had the best chance for the visitors across from the left-hand side. He should have done much better. He was unchallenged in the box. He could only head it straight into the hands of Carson, an easy take. And then Declan John had a strike from just outside the box. It looked as though perhaps it was going to be goal bound, but Joe Shaughnessy managed to get that final block on it. There is plenty of effort, plenty of enthusiasm, but very little quality in show in the first half. I can only hope it improves in the second, but as far as Dundee and their supporters are concerned, this crucial game, so far they've got the upper hand.
Thanks to Willis in the top flight. Dundee 1, St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 0, Motherwell down to 10 men, Rangers 0, Hibs 1, Ross County 0, Aberdeen 1. Into the Championship, let's hear how the leaders are getting on. Falkirk at home to Morton. Derek Ferguson is here for us.
Yeah, Kenny, there ain't no stopping this Falkirk side as they march towards the title. It's Falkirk 3, Morton 0 at the moment. What a start it was from John McGlynn's side, taking the lead 4 minutes in. Good work down the right hand side from Adams and Miller, with the ball falling to Scott Arfield just inside the box. They volley home. Great strike it was. You could sense a second was coming. It did in 17 minutes. Magical play from Calvin Miller again down that right hand side, but the winger coming inside, going past a couple of defenders with ease, I've got to say, then producing a fine strike, beating the keeper from 15 yards out at the angle. The home side continued to control the game, deservedly got a third in 44 minutes. It was Scott Arfield with his second of the day, expertly finishing from 15 yards out. A wonderful strike again from the veteran, but it looks like it's all 3 points already at half time, Kenny, as it's Falkirk 3, Morton 0.
Thanks to Derek. Next stop, Starts Park. Wraith Rovers at home to Ayr United. Let's hear from Alan Preston.
Wraith Rovers now, Ayr United now at half time, and hardly a chance, Kenny, in that opening 45 minutes really. Curtis Main did have a half chance where it's a long ball over the top and Main's onto it and he hits it over the top of the bar with his left foot, well over. Then Henderson had a cross when Main was behind him just to tap into the net, but the keeper Ray blocked it. And then as far as Wraith Rovers are concerned, Easton cut in from the left and smashed one 20 yards over the top of the crossbar. It's not been great stuff here at Kirkcaldy, where the half-time score is Wraith Rovers 0, Ayr United 0. Teams are out.
Thanks to Alan. Let's hear how Livingston are getting on there at home to Queen's Park. There for us, Gully Singh.
Yes, Kenny, Livingston 3, Queen's Park 0. The sides met less than a week ago, and Livy are on course for a repeat scoreline from the Scottish Challenge Cup final. Zach Rudden, though, on 9 minutes, he eluded the defender, just burst into the box, couldn't keep it on the goal or get a pass away, but a half chance for Queen's Park. Then on 14 minutes, the opening goal came. Lewis Smith cuts inside. It was a left-footed shot, almost loops over Callum very well. It doesn't fact, but it hits the bar before it finds its way into the net. A fantastic effort, and in 17 minutes, it's 2-0 for the home side. A corner whipped to the back post, headed down by Ryan McGowan into the path of Robbie Muirhead, of course, who scored last week. He picks a spot to slot it home as David Martindale's side appeared to be cruising. Then there was a third, Stephen Kelly with an effort from 25 yards out. Scott Pittman collecting the ball from Lewis Smith on the right hand side, cuts it back. Kelly with a first time shot to pick out the bottom left hand corner and give Ferry no chance. That's 28 goals conceded now in 8 games for Queen's Park, as the second half has just kicked off its...
Right, thanks to Gully Singh there. So in the Championship, Airdrie 0, Partick Thistle 0, Dunfermline 0, Hamilton Accies 1, Falkirk 3, Morton 0, Livingston 3, Queen's Park 0, Wraith Rovers 0, Ayr United 0. Into League 1, Annan Athletic 0, Queen of the South 0, Cove Rangers 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 2, Kelty Hearts 0, Dumbarton 3, Montrose 0, the leaders are both 1, Stennismuir 0, Alloa Athletic 1. Into League 2, Edinburgh City 1, Clyde 0, Elgin City 0, Stirling Albion 1, Forfar Athletic 1, East Fife 0, Peterhead 3, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Spartans 1, Stranraer 0. And in England, full time from the lunchtime kickoff, Everton 1, Arsenal 1, 3 o'clock games, Crystal Palace 1, Brighton 1, Ipswich 1, Wolves 0, West Ham United 0, Bournemouth 1, 5:30 start, Aston Villa at home to Nottingham Forest.
Last time in the Europa League.
Here goes Yandas over the bar! Rangers go through to the Europa League quarter-finals! Look at the scenes in here. Some of these Fenerbahce players were very, very good, but Rangers found a way.
European football lives here.
And they will face Athletic Bilbao for a place in the semi-finals.
Catch the first leg live from Ibrox.
Rangers in the Europa League.
This is where they come to life for sure.
Thursday from 6.
And Charlie rolls it home.
Listen on digital radio or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. As you've just been hearing, a big week ahead. Full coverage from 6 of Rangers against Athletic Bilbao in the quarter-final of the Europa League. Of course, Sports Sound tomorrow, 2 top-flight games kicking off. 4 top flight games for you this afternoon, including the option of commentary. So once again, a choice of listening on BBC Radio Scotland. Stick with us on BBC Sounds and 92 to 95 FM for open all mics. For full commentary of Rangers against Hibs, tune to Radio Scotland Extra Digital and 810 medium wave, and both options are available online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Welcome back to Ibrox as Rangers and Hibs prepare to get the second half underway. And unlike Dens Park, Rangers have opted not to make any changes in order to turn things around in the second period. Nor have Hibs. They'll be well pleased, you'd imagine, the way things are going, and they will begin this second half leading by a 1-0 as Rangers prepare to get us back underway. Nico Raskan inside the centre circle, preparing to roll the ball back the way as Rangers look to try and turn this around and arrest this dreadful run of defeats that has taken over at Ibrox. It's an incredible thought that they'd been so good at home actually for most of the season, 1-12 and drawn 1 before the recent league defeats by St Mirren and Motherwell, but all of a sudden they can't buy a victory here. But Dessers could be in earlier and he goes down under a bit of contact there from Bashiri, and the referee's not interested in it. Dessers feels sure he was taken down, didn't see a great deal of contact between him and Bashiri as he just about got in behind, and to me, it almost looked like he could have kept going. Didn't need to go down.
Yeah, I mean, I think he chose to go down.
Yeah,
I think it's a great pass through, a good run again. But I think was it Bashiri that was right beside him?
Yeah.
It was good close defending again. It was not a foul for me. It didn't look like a foul for me.
Yeah, I would agree, and VAR will always look at these things. It would have probably been a red card offence had it been deemed to be a foul. So Kevin Clancy no doubt will be checking it. Play continues. The ball hasn't gone dead since then, so we'll wait and see. But I don't think, didn't certainly look to be a foul. Dessers hitting the deck rather easily, it appeared, as Rangers almost found an opening in the first seconds of the second half. So still they trail by a 1-0 as Barron sends it out to the right hand side to Tavernier. Tavernier just leaves it to Czerny. Czerny comes inside of Obita, thinks about lifting it into the penalty area. Instead he goes short to Diamondi, back to Tavernier. Now Czerny will pick up again. Obita and Hoylett trying to stick close to him. Plays a 1-2 with Egeman. He's gone all the way across to the left hand side now to Jefty, and back with Czerny again, midway inside the Hibs half, coming in from the left now leaves it to Egeman. Can't play that into the feet of Dessers, and Hibs trying to break forward, but Suter steps in to ensure Boyle can't latch on to the forward pass, and now it's Jefty, ball into the near post, but it's easily gathered by the Hibs keeper. And after a couple of minutes of the second period, still Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Much the same, the first 2 or 3 minutes, much the same as the first half. Rangers with all the ball, but Jefty's got to bear. He's got to cross the ball better than that.
Hibs' fabulous 15-game unbeaten run is the best of any side outside the Old Firm in this century, and there's every reason to believe they can go on and extend it even further as they look to secure third place for the first time since 2021. Hibs have a free kick just inside their own half, which will be taken by Iredale down the left. One for Kuharevich to try and put pressure on Tavernier. He gets a touch on it, the Ukrainian, but only to take it behind for a goal kick, which has already been taken by Jack Butland. Raskan picks up for Rangers in a deep area, plays it out to the right hand side to Tavernier. He clips it forward, looking to find Dessers in behind. It's a ball that Rangers have continually looked for, and it's not come off for them as yet. That's not to say that it won't, but Hibs have defended the situation pretty well so far with Iredale and Bashiri, particularly in that left hand side of the central defence. dealing with it well. Here's Eagleman on the left hand side for Rangers, about 15 yards inside the Hibs half, leaves it for Raskin. Now Diamondi left hand side, back to Raskin on the halfway line, tries to spin away from Martin Boyle. Diamondi quickly under pressure, he's lost out to Triantis, who was quickly up on him, and Hibs trying to counter here. Ball breaks in the middle of the park. Raskin and Triantis challenge. It was a 50-50. Triantis left hurt in the middle of the park, but Hibs continue in possession. Left hand side, it's Obita with a chance to cross, comes off Tavernier and behind, and the referee will now go back and check on Triantis. It didn't look to me again, Ian, to be a foul. It was really a case of it being a 50-50. Both players more or less played it at the same time, but Triantis has clearly come off first. Well, it's actually, I say that as a check for a possible red card, which presumably would be against Raskin.
Yeah, I mean, it looked a little high, but I can't see it being a red card, but it did look high, because Triantis, you could tell by the player, immediately went down as if it was a sore one. So I think it was a little bit high. I think it took a bit of the ball as well, though.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me. I kind of felt that they both kind of came together and played the ball at the same time, but maybe no red cards in the decision, so it was quickly looked at by Kevin Clancy and cleared. Hibs have the throw-in on this left-hand side. Looking for a second goal here. Hoylett tries to tease it into the area. Rangers get a block in, but Boyle keeps possession for Hibs as Miller plays it forward into Cadden. Midway inside the Rangers half, it's Triantis who's recovered from that Raskin challenge, and then it's out of play over on the far side for a throw to Rangers. To Hibernian, you can tell that, I mean, it's night and day from the way they started the season. Incredibly, actually, at the start of this 15-game unbeaten run, they were bottom of the table before they took on Ross County and beat them back on the 14th of December. Going into that game, they were at the very foot of the Premiership as Hibs win a free kick here. But that unbeaten run, which has consisted of 10 wins and 5 draws, has taken them up to third place. And here they are at Ibrox, leading by a goal to nil as Hoylett is helped to his feet. The Rangers fans clearly didn't believe it was a foul, but the free kick's given as Iredale takes it, tries to big switch of play. It's a lovely ball for Cadden, who nods it down for Boyle. A little bit loose with that, but Miller gets first to it. Jefty then wins it and goes and tries to hold off Cadden, but Cadden has one possession, right hand side in a good area, but Suter gets the clearing header, picked up by Diamondi. He's given it straight back to Cadden though. Right hand side of the box, it's Kuharevich. Boyle tries to bundle his way through a couple of Rangers bodies, but he's dispossessed. Diamondi half clears it, but picked up by Levitt, the goal scorer. And now Hibs come forward once more, ball into the box, a dangerous one, and Tavernier's got to be careful with Junior Hoylett lurking, but the skipper is able to clear out to this near side. Hibs have a throw in almost 7 minutes played in the second period, still Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, they're very well drilled, Hibs, aren't they? The back three do ever so well, the two sitting midfielders. Really how hard Boyle, Kuharevich and also Hoylett work behind the ball. Really well drilled, Hibs.
Here's Barron. He's been brought to the ground by Hoylett just inside the Rangers half. It'll be a Rangers free kick. I watched Hibs in their last visit to Glasgow when they came to Celtic Park in the Scottish Cup, and they were pretty comfortably beaten that day. Didn't really give a good account of themselves, but although they've had a lot less of the ball than Rangers, they've been so well organised, and it's going to take something really special, you feel, from Rangers to get back into this game as Czerny tries to provide that, trying to look for Dessers. It's cleared though and breaks back to Czerny, who plays it out to the left hand side to Jefty, who just gets the better of Cadden there at the angle of the box. Then back to Czerny once more, tries to skip away from Triantis, who read that pretty well and nicks the ball off him. Now Kuharevich marauds forward. He's passed a couple of challenges, a couple of weak challenges you would have to say, and still he has it, the Ukrainian. Brings Cadden into play, right hand side into the box. Sterling clears, picked up by Levitt midway inside the Rangers half, gets out to the left hand side. Hoylett has it at the angle of the box, coming in onto that right foot, goes for goal, and he's not too far away from finding it. A well struck shot, a yard or so over Jack Butland's crossbar. 53 on the clock, Rangers 0, Hibs 1.
With a great view of that one. It was a bit like his goal last week, but obviously it was a curling effort last week. Just at the very last minute, he thought it was going to the top corner, just went over the bar. Good play, he's working ever so hard. Hoylett and Boyle worked their socks off for Hibs.
Kilmarnock have went 2-0 up on 10-man Motherwell. I'll bring you the scorer when I can, but it looks like they're heading for a very important 3 points, particularly with Dundee also leading, Ross County trailing, of the clubs who are down in amongst it. So as things stand, Kelly would draw level with Ross County, and Dundee would be just a point behind them. So very, very interesting at the foot of the table, as much as it is in the battle for the top 6, the battle for Europe, the battle for third place, all sorts of things going on. But as I mentioned earlier, if this result stays as it is, then Celtic with a win tomorrow could then clinch the title at home to Kilmarnock next weekend, as Cadden comes forward and Hibs looking to stretch their own advantage here. Angle of the box, right hand side, stands up to the back post, no Hibs player waiting though, and it will stay in play. Tavernier collects it on the goal line, plays it forward for Barron. Barry Ferguson's got to be contemplating changes as Barron is dragged to the ground by Hoylett. He's going to go into the book here. I think that's as much for a couple of different challenges he's made as that one on its own. And Hoylett booked, and Rangers take the free kick quickly. Jefty trying to burrow his way forward, falls to Eagman, who's again had a quiet game. Barron gets out to Cherny, right hand side, who's been much more involved, swings it in looking for Dessers. It was a rather hanging ball that was pretty comfortably dealt with the Hibs defence. Jefty has it left hand side, a loose ball though for Diamondi, who does well to get there ahead of Triantis. Suter now back out to the left hand side, and now Raskin in the halfway line. Various options available to Barry Ferguson on the bench: Danilo, Hadji, Cortez, even by Rami, as they look to try and unlock this Hibs defence. Barron out to the right hand side, Tavernier tries to swing it in. I think that's swung all the way behind, is it? Yeah, the assistant on this near side flags. It will be a Hibernian goal kick as Barry Ferguson makes his way back into the dugout. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's to discuss some changes, Ian, would you?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, I really like Diamondi as a player, but he's just playing, he's going too high up the pitch too early. You know, an eager man for me on the left hand side. I really like him, man. I think he's a great ability. He looks lost, but they need to get somebody onto Dylan Levitt. Rangers do as well, because at times he's conducting the game a little bit when Hibs are in possession of the ball.
The Rangers manager just whistled for a couple of his substitutes to make their way back. It looks like by Rami, just by Rami for the moment, as Sterling has to make the clearance. Picked up though by Obita left hand side in an advanced area for Hibernian. Back to Levitt, as Ian was talking about, and plenty of space there, able to pull the strings in the middle of the park. Triantis, another one who's had a good game for Hibs, a good season actually from the Australian. He was called up to the Aussie senior squad for the first time recently, wasn't used, but signs that he is progressing as a player on loan from Sunderland. David Gray wrapped up against the cold there inside his technical area, but things very much going his side's way at the moment. They've got a throw in here to be taken by Iredale, left hand side, about 25 yards from the corner flag, and plenty of bodies making their way forward in green and white to try and get on the end of this. 57 on the clock as Hibs look for a second goal at Ibrox. Into the penalty area it comes. I think that came off a Rangers head, did it? Apparently not, according to the referee. It's a goal kick that's been awarded. I thought it was Suter that got his head to.
Well, Butland looked, he had a good view and he was racing to get the ball and try and stop it going out. That tells you he thought it was a corner kick,
but not given. So still 1-0 Hibs. The Dylan Levitt goal in 8 minutes. The difference between the sides is Rangers preparing a change. Certainly by Rami did go back there to get stripped. It hasn't been altogether convincing, you would have to say, in a Rangers jersey, as Diamondi looks to try and break through, getting on the end of the Sterling pass forward. It's not a terrible idea, but it's too much in the pass. Behind for a goal kick as Bayrami gets a couple of words in the ear from Barry Ferguson, and it's Václav Černý who's coming off. You can only imagine that's because he's not quite ready to play the 90, because he's been one of the few Rangers players who looks like he might make something happen here.
Yeah, he's done okay. I think his end product's been poor, but I mean, I know Barry didn't want to talk about the Thursday night game, but it is pivotal. So you'd want to keep him fresh because he's he missed last week. He's obviously got a little niggling. Barami, he's one that has got to go out and perform, I think.
A handball there on the ground by Kuharevich. The Rangers fans howling about, but play allowed to continue with Rangers in possession. I mean, clearly the Athletic Bilbao game, as much as Rangers and their fans want to be winning in the league, as Dessers is through, he looks offside, but he goes, denied by Jordan Smith. The flag goes up now. I thought he was offside, and indeed the assistant now agreeing on that front, but played in behind. And much like last week, Dessers is having one of these days, Ian, where you can't get the better of the goalkeeper when he does hit the target.
But it was pretty clear, I thought, just like you are, that it was offside, but flag's not up yet. He's got to go and finish it, and he's 1-1 with the goalie again. And listen, it's a good save by Smith, but he's allowed him to make the save. It's a good height for him to save it. He's got to stick that in the back of the net.
As I was saying, the Athletic Bilbao game is by far the more important one in the grand scheme of things. The league title for a long time has been out with Rangers' reach, whereas further progress in Europe would be outstanding work if they could manage it against a team of the calibre of Athletic Bilbao. Certainly a step up from Fenerbahce and most of the teams they've come up against so far. It will be very tough, and the last thing they want to do, apart from anything else, is going into that game here on Thursday having lost their last 5 here. It's an incredible statistic that they're mounting up.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you feel as well for Barry and the guys that come, because every single game's an addition. So he wants to make a change, maybe weaken the team because of Thursday night. He's got to go and win this game.
A couple of Hibs changes coming. Josh Campbell and Kieran Bowie preparing to come on, as Tavernier has it on the right hand side now. Bayrami takes over into Barron, right hand side of the box, low ball in. Bashiri at the near post just pokes it behind for a corner. It wasn't a great ball in from Barron. I don't think it was going to find a Rangers body, but Bashiri could easily have diverted that past his own keeper, but he did well to send it the right side of the post as far as he's concerned, and concede the corner on this right hand side to be taken by Tavernier now that Cherny is off. So this one will be the out swinger as Rangers look for an equaliser on the hour mark. Tavernier swings it in, it's met by Triantis at the near post and cleared away, and Jefty picks up possession at the edge of the centre circle, plays it to Barron back out to Tavernier right hand side. He'll go back into the centre circle to Jefty, and Jefty sends it out to the left to Igman, up against Miller here, running at the Australian fullback, sends it in towards the back post. Tavernier can't reach it, and it's behind for a goal kick, and that'll allow Hibs to make this double change that is forthcoming. Kuharevich will be replaced by Bowie, and also coming off is going to be Junior Hoylett as Josh Campbell enters the fray. So two pretty decent players to bring on. It's not, you wouldn't say, going to weaken Hibs in any great sense, Ian?
No, definitely not. I mean, I think you'll find Kieran Bowie, and I know him well, I've seen him many times. I think he'll be the one that'll become, the Hibs, the main focal point of their attacking time. And obviously Campbell, Hoylett's 34, 35 now, played last week. He's been really effective this week again, but it's just a like for like replace. Different types of players, but able to play in the same position.
Yeah, the 34-year-old, you're right, Hoylett departs, replaced by Josh Campbell, a decade younger, and Kieran Bowie. I haven't seen a massive amount of him, I have to admit, but what I have seen I've liked, and it does look like he'll be a good addition to the Hibs squad. Missed much of this season, of course, through injury, as Hibs come forward. I'm slightly wary of my notes. There could have been a handball there by Tavernier. It's lashed goalwards. Still the claims will go on. I think Tavernier's arm was close enough to his body that won't be given as a penalty, but it's certainly worth a claim from Hibs.
It was. I think you're right. I think his arm was close enough to his body, but I tell you what, Campbell's still got to hit the target with a shot.
Yeah, it's been checked, as Neil McCann has a word there with the fourth official about something or other, but it just skipped off the turf, and no penalty. I think we've called that one accurately, but you're right, there was a chance beyond that for Josh Campbell, maybe just fresh on the pitch, wasn't quite alert enough to be able to put that one on target, but it was half a chance at the very least.
Yeah, definitely was. I mean, he's just got to strike through it, and maybe you're right though, maybe it's just because he's on the pitch, but it fell really nicely, hit it in a half volley. It was only about 6-8 yards out in the angle.
63 on the clock, Rangers 0, Hibs 1. Hibs at the moment looking for a first victory here in over 6 years, as Cadden plays it forward. Actually, it's just over 7 years. Losing track of my calendar. It's a poor clearance there by Butland. He was looking for Jefte, and ultimately it's going to be a free kick to Rangers as Raskin goes down, and Martin Boyle's talked his way into the book there. I think that's for dissent. Certainly wasn't for the challenge. Rangers again haven't really troubled Jordan Smith. There's a ball over the top looking for Bayrami. Can he get in behind Bashiri? It's Bayrami on the left foot off the crossbar. Very, very unfortunate for the Albanian. He caught it really sweetly on the left foot just inside the penalty area, and he's really unlucky to see that come back off the woodwork. Just as I said, Rangers haven't troubled Jordan Smith in the second half.
Yeah, a magnificent movement, magnificent strike. Just the wood. I thought it was going over the bar, and immediately it's just bounced off the top of the bar. Great hit from Bayrami. They've been trying that all day to try and get in beyond. Sometimes the Hibs backline's too deep to do it though.
Jefte plays the ball off Cadden for a Rangers throw, and it's picked up again by Bayrami. Swings it in. Dessers can't get there. It's off the head of Iredale, and Cadden will go and try and keep that in. He knocks it down the right flank, picked up though by Diamonde, and into Barron. Back with Diamonde once more. He goes back to the halfway line. Barry Ferguson furious that the ball's not going forward. Here's Suter playing it to Diamonde and into Bayrami. Unfortunate not to have had the equaliser a moment or two ago. He just runs that one out of play. Good strength from Lewis Miller, as you said, Ian. He is a tremendous athlete, very strong, powerful runner.
Yeah, he's a specimen. He's been really, really impressive today, I've got to say. Just like the back, all the back three of Hibernian.
65 played at Ibrox. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, with Rangers a goal down to Hibernian, and Sterling stumbled, and then Boyle goes down as well, but Campbell's latched on. Campbell is in here. Can he make it 2-0? As Josh Campbell drags his shot wide, and Sterling what's the referee done here? It's gone back. I don't understand what the referee is actually given there. He's coming back and giving Rangers a free kick in the middle of the park. I don't think.
And he allowed it to go in for the Hibernian chance. I think somebody's told him, one of the fourth officials, somebody told him it was a foul, and he's changed his decision. It's a bizarre one, that one.
I didn't see a foul. I just thought Sterling slipped. Then Boyle seemed to maybe have been caught by Sterling as he slipped. Yeah. And that allowed Josh Campbell to run in again. That's more than half a chance. That one, Campbell again failing to hit the target, but I still can't quite understand the game being called back for a free kick to Rangers. But anyway, play goes on. Hibs could have given himself a 2-goal advantage here, but it didn't look like it would have stood, judging by the ultimate decision by the officials here. But still 1-0 then to the visitors. David Gray looking to mastermind another famous Hibernian victory, forever be associated, of course, with the late winning goal in the Scottish Cup final to end that century and more drought for his club at Hampden. As Jefte has it left hand side into Egeman, but 30 yards from goal. He can't find a pass. Good challenge from Suter to win it back from Boyle, then plays it out to the left hand side. Jefte into Diamonde inside the box. Can he get the shot away? Blocked by Bashiri. Breaks through Jefte once more, away by Iredale this time. Terrific defending from Hibs, last ditch stuff at times, but they're holding Rangers out as Tavernier tries to play it back into the box. Knocked away once again, this time by Triantis. Rangers will pick up through Bayrami, stands on the ball, and that allows Campbell to step in and get it to Obita, and Obita's found a way through the Rangers defence, and Boyle's in. Boyle up against Butland to score. Hibs have scored once more, but the flag is up against Boyle. Well, I didn't reckon he was offside, I have to say, at first glance, but the assistant has his flag up to deny Hibs that second goal, but it looked like the ball forward from Obita had just split the Rangers defence in two. Boyle latches onto it, slots it past Butland, but the flag for the moment, as it's checked by VAR, denies Boyle. Ian, your own take?
I thought he was just offside. I think it's really, really tight though. You know, when it came in, he looked about 5 yards offside, but the pass had travelled quite a distance. So I think it's really tight, but I think it's probably just offside.
Well, Rangers defence, if they've got this right, and you have to say it's good defending if they're holding their line sufficiently, but very much taking a chance against the pace of Martin Boyle as we await the decision, which has not come quickly, so that would suggest that Ian's right about it being tight. Kevin Clancy looking at it as the two sets of coaching teams exchange opinions on the matter. Rangers preparing to take the free kick that they are hoping is going to be awarded. We've played almost 25 minutes of this second period, still Rangers 0, Hibs 1, but is it going to be Hibs 2? We await the decision of Kevin Clancy in the VAR room and drawing the lines to determine whether Martin Boyle was offside as he ran through on goal there to score what would have been his 16th goal of the season. Still we await that decision. You say it must be tight given the length of time this has taken.
It was, and you know, and Al, it was nothing about them trying to hold the line. I mean, that was just here we go.
It's a goal!
It's a goal.
Martin Boyle was onside, and he has given Hibernian a 2-goal advantage. Rangers sliced apart by an Obita ball forward, and Hibs go and celebrate with their fans over on the far side, and well they might. The inquisition goes on in the Rangers backline. John Suter and James Tavernier exchanging words, but Rangers yet again trail by 2-0. It is quite incredible, and for only the second time in their history they've conceded 2 or more in consecutive league games for 6 games in a row, and they have it all to do here at Ibrox. It's brilliant stuff for Hibs, you'd have to say, who are on course for a long overdue victory at Ibrox. 71 minutes played. It is Rangers 0, Hibernian 2.
I tell you, my take on it is as well, the Hibs players don't look as if they think, oh goodness me, we're winning 2-0 at Ibrox. I think they feel they're coming here and they're going to win. I just think it looks like Hibernian are a team, look like a team. Rangers look like a lot of players that are good footballers, not quite got a structure, whereas Hibs, obviously David Grace had them all season. He's banged the stuff into them, and they're looking like a real team for me.
It's going to be a free kick to Rangers, who once again have to come back from 2 goals down. It has been the case all so often as Danilo prepares to come on for Rangers, but it's quite incredible the amount of times that they have had to come back from 2-0 down in recent weeks. But that's exactly what has to happen. They managed it at Dens last weekend, but Hibs are a different proposition as Egeman pokes it out to the left hand side. Jefty will get it as Danilo gets some instructions from Billy Dodds down there. It's been another poor performance, really, all things told. We said in the first half that it wasn't terrible. Boyle's definitely offside this time as Campbell threads him through. He's in on goal, he's going to be allowed to continue. He's batted away by Butland. The flag doesn't go up this time. Well, the assistant referee who got it wrong for the Boyle goal, I think has got it wrong again by keeping his flag down, and so play allowed to continue as Hibernian come forward once again. If he had beaten the keeper again, that would have gone to VAR, and I think he would have been called off on that occasion. But here they come as it's sent into the penalty area. It comes off Dujon Sterling. It'll be a Hibs corner, and what is that, a couple of thousand or so Hibs fans across in that corner, and they're absolutely delirious.
Yeah, absolutely, and Rascan's having a go at Jefty because the back four stepped out and Jefty's lying 3 yards behind them. No wonder the Hibs players on side on that occasion.
I don't think I told you that the second Kilmarnock goal was scored by Joe Wright. That was a while back, but they do lead by 2-0 against Motherwell, just as Hibernian lead by 2-0 here at Ibrox, adding to the relative misery of the Rangers fans this season. You can already tell that a number of headed for the exits once again, particularly in that Broomlin Road stand that Hibs are attacking right now as Boyle swings it in, headed away by Eagman at the near post, and breaks to Obita, who will gladly take the assist for the Boyle goal. Boyle notching his 11th Premiership goal of the season, far and away Hibs' top marksman this season, and all told that is 95 in his Hibs career.
I'd like to see it back, Al, the pass from Obita. I'm not sure it was a pass. I thought it may have been a clearance, but I might be wrong.
Either way, the Rangers defence didn't deal with it at all well. I
No.
mean, they were all at sea. If they were trying to play offside, as I say, if it had been called off, you would have to say they did really well. But ultimately, as he was played on, then it's got to go down as really bad defending. As Diamonde is going to be replaced here. He hasn't had his most influential game in the midfield, and he's gone off on the far side, and that allows the Brazilian Danilo to come on up front alongside Dessers. Just a few instructions there as to how exactly they're going to line up. He looks like he's going out to the left hand side by Rami in the 10, Eagman on the right hand side, and Dessers still up front on his own in the 4-2-3-1. It just hasn't quite worked for Rangers this afternoon, but lots of credit to Hibs. And I just want, it's crossed my mind a couple of times, but you have to go back and pay a lot of credit also to the Hibs board, who stuck by David Gray when probably the easier decision would have been to do what a lot of boards do on the run that they were bottom of the table, would have been to bin an inexperienced manager. They stuck by him. They believed in what had earned him the job in the first instance, and boy, it's paying off right now.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I think Marky Mackay deserves a lot of credit, because these guys will be seeing what's going on behind scenes, how hard the players are working, how hard David's working, and listen, it's come up trumps for them thus far, because they're having since the 10-15 games, they've been absolutely terrific.
Tavernier plays it forward again, looking for the ball over the top. It's pretty comfortably dealt with, and Hibs come forward once more, and you have to say that despite Rangers' dominance of the ball, as Butland plays a poor clearance again, it's picked up by Campbell. Hibs are deserving of their advantage here.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a 2-0 game, I'm not sure about that, but they certainly, if one team deserves to be winning it, Rangers have had chances in the first half, they've hit the bar, but you know what, you can't say Hibernian don't deserve to be ahead.
Josh Campbell booked as he and Raskan pointing the fingers at each other, but he then knocked the ball out of Raskan's hand, and I think that's what he was shown the yellow card for. But I mean, clearly the frustrations among the Rangers players are growing by the minute. They know they're not doing their job correctly. 50,922 inside Ibrox at one stage, certainly not now. It's emptying as every second passes. Certainly the Hibs fans aren't making their way towards the exits as they head for a 16th league game unbeaten, and it's a massive day, because I think a lot of people were looking at this day as a big day for Aberdeen, as Danilo brings Rangers forward. We can't link with this. It's a big day for Aberdeen in the sense that they were hoping to beat Ross County and hope that Hibs would drop points here, but although Aberdeen are holding up their end of the bargain at the moment, leading by a goal to nil, Hibs are winning 2-0 here at Ibrox, and as things stand will stay a point above Aberdeen in the race for third place. Here's Bayrami, whose effort off the crossbar looks now that Hibs have gone on and got that second goal, even more unfortunate. Eagman right hand side swings it in, Dessers gets on the end of it, can't get the shot really on target as Iredale sweeps it away. Hibs bring it forward, and
magnificent from Levitt.
Yeah, it was a lovely pass from Levitt to Campbell, and he plays it forward now for Bowie up against Sterling. It's played off Sterling, and Hibs will have the throw in. 12 minutes left, and I know we said this at Dens Ian, you didn't really see Rangers getting back into it, but I don't see Rangers getting back into this.
No, at the end you always thought either team could have scored every time they went up the pitch. Rangers Dessers had chances in the first half. He's had one this half. Barami should have good, but I don't have the feeling they're going to score.
Falkirk well on their way to the championship title, leading Morton by 5-0 at home, and it looks very much like they will be rejoining the top flight for a first time in a long time. Ian, a club you'll still hold pretty close to your heart, I imagine.
Yeah.
Your times there, and a long overdue return for them.
Yeah, listen, great club. I played there and I managed there, and John back-to-back promotion. They were in the doldrums for I think they were in League One for about 5 years.
Yeah.
So a terrific achievement, and they are the best team in the championship. They are a right good side.
Here's Eagleman for Rangers, right hand side, clips it to the back post. Danilo's there, helps it back into the middle. Header there from Tavernier, and Dessers couldn't get on the end of it. The fans behind the goal screaming for a penalty. I'm assuming they feel there was a shove there in the back of Dessers as he tried to get on the end of it. The referee is unmoved by those claims. Dessers also indicating there was a shove. And again, Kevin Clancy, the VAR, will have a look at it. I must say, from our viewpoint, Ian, I didn't see anything wrong with it.
No, I think he's got to score. I think he's got to be more dynamic and get on the end of it. I don't think it's a penalty kick. Yeah, I tell you what, I think Bashiri, Iredale, Miller weren't happy with him. I think they're thinking it's a dive. He's thrown himself onto the ground.
Yeah. Well, again, the ball hasn't gone dead yet, so we're not entirely sure quite what will come of that, if anything, but it will certainly, as an incident inside the penalty area, be checked by the VAR as Eagleman picks up and steps away from his marker and then tries to link with Raskan, who couldn't collect it. Again, Dessers has gone down off the ball this time at the edge of the penalty area. The goal kick is awarded, and with 10 minutes to play, I'm just seeing if the referee's going to delay at all for a continuing check, but it doesn't appear so. I think the Dessers penalty claim has been one that doesn't have any great merit, and with just under 10 to play of the 90, it's still Rangers 0, Hibernian 2.
I think that's indicative of how Eagleman's confidence is now. He had 5-10 yards of space that he driving the ball, maybe with a strike a goal, and he's tried to pass it, which is amazing after the goal he scored at Celtic Park. I thought his confidence looked down at Dens Park, and it certainly does today.
Suter gets his head to the ball at the edge of his own area, heads it out to this right hand side to Tavernier, up to Eagleman just inside the Hibs half. Plays it infield. He was fouled as he tried to do so by Obita, and Rangers will have the free kick taken from the wrong place, and so it'll be retaken just inside the Hibs half. Tavernier back the way to Sterling, and well, this is not a performance, indeed result, or the way it's looking right now, the scoreline at least, that's going to add any weight to calls for Barry Ferguson and co to get the job full time. Tavernier into the area, and Smith get a glove to that, I think he did, and it's going to go over for a corner kick on the far side as Tavernier's ball into the box was just clawed behind by Jordan Smith, who hasn't been overworked, you would have to say, over the course of the afternoon.
No, he hasn't. I mean, I had one good save in the first half from Dessers. Other than that, it's just been poor finishing on the rare occasions that Rangers have had chances.
Tavernier then from the left hand side to send this ball in as Rangers look for a lifeline away back into the game. Near post ball is met by Miller. Barron picks up. What a great touch first time, and he's closed down by Boyle, but does get the pass off to Jefty. Jefty will bring it forward. It's closed down by the man who opened the goal scoring, Dylan Levitt. Back out to Tavernier, left hand side, into the area it goes, beats everyone, claims for handball, comes to Danilo, that's blocked. Raskan goes for goal, that's blocked by Bashiri, who's been terrific inside his own 6-yard box. Again, Don Robertson just asking for a delay here as the check for handball is made. Again, I didn't see that clearly enough, but certainly that was a claim. It's been checked by Kevin Clancy as Martin Boyle is down, and there's going to be a couple of Hibs changes as Dwight Gale and Nathan Mariah Welsh prepares to come on. I wouldn't be too surprised if Boyle, who's down just now, is one of those replaced. Yeah, I mean, there was certainly a big claim for a handball as the ball came into the the Hibernian box, but it was all happening too quickly for me to really see one way or the other whether there was anything in it, as the Hibs medical team will be no penalty is the decision, as Dylan Levitt's going to be replaced here. Having opened the scoring, he's going to come off and be replaced by Mariah Welsh, and Boyle will also make way. So the 2 goal scorers coming off as Mariah Welsh and Gale come on, and with just over 6 minutes to play, Ian, it very much looks like Hibernian are heading for a victory here at Ibrox.
Yeah, and listen, Mark Boyle's worked his socks off. Dylan Levitt for me has been as good as anybody on the pitch. Again, it was just heroic defending from Hibs here, and I'm saying that as if the Hibs have defended all the foot at times, but you just get the feeling it's going to be Hibs' day, because there was 2 or 3 little bobbling about the box here for Rangers. Raskin had a good strike, but it was Bashiri again in the front area to clear the danger.
So it's simply going to be a Rangers throw in to restart play midway inside the Hibs half, left hand side, back from Jefty to Suter, and now Sterling. A lot of decisions for Barry Ferguson to make ahead of Thursday as to how to pick his side up from this, how to somehow engineer a winning performance against Athletic Bilbao from a performance that's kind of lacking in finishing as this one has been, as Tavernier tries to clip it forward again. It's a ball that really hasn't worked all afternoon for Rangers, as Raskin has it right hand side here, plays it to Eagman. Midway inside the Hibs half, Tavernier into the feet of Danilo, lays it back to Bayrami 25 yards from goal, out to the left hand side for Jefty on the angle of the box, up against Cadden, looking for options, onto the right foot, tries to swing his boot at it, and the effort at goal, but it was a tame one. It was easily blocked as it's made its way out to the right hand side now to Eagman, the Moroccan. Low ball in, Raskin picks up inside the penalty area, tries to get it back to Eagman, but it's straight behind for a goal kick. Barry Ferguson down there really can't believe what he's seeing, and certainly barring some sort of miraculous comeback in the closing minutes here, Rangers look destined for a 5th consecutive defeat at Ibrox.
They do that, and you were mentioning Thursday night, they're going to that game without John Suter, who for me is a class act, and he's the one, anyway in my opinion, he's the one proper defender they've got, so that's a worry. No, Hibernian developed all the plaudits. Rangers have had their moments. I don't think they've been as poor as in some of the games I was here, maybe the St Mirren game or the Motherwell game, but toothless, just toothless. And you can't go, you've got to make sure when you get chances here at Ibrox that you've got to put the ball in the net. Martin Boyle's had one good chance, clinical, back of the net.
4 to play, Rangers 0, Hibernian 2. Catch the highlights on Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC One, BBC Scotland channel, beg your pardon, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a large contingent in Leith tuning in for that one, as Mariah Welsh brings Hibs forward on the right hand side. Now it's Cadden. Mariah Welsh picks up once more, tracked by Raskin, just tries to play it in, maybe trying to play it off Raskin for a corner, doesn't work, as Barron plays it back to Butland, who just manages to get it away to Tavernier before he was closed down there by Gale, I think it was, who was closest to him. Rangers just getting away with that. It was a pretty unwise pass from Barron. He's now been dispossessed in the middle of the park, and Hibs come forward again, left hand side. Now Triantis, who's been terrific in the Hibs midfield, holding up and holding on to possession, which is all Hibs have to do in these closing minutes here at Ibrox to see out the victory, and end a 7-year wait for a victory over Rangers, as the ball's played back to Butland. Clears it over the halfway line, and Dessers this time gets the decision, dragged to the ground there by Iredale. There hasn't been a poor performer in that Hibs backline, and a couple of late changes coming here, Hadji and Curtis coming on, but you do feel it's too little too late as Eagman and Dessers make way, but very little time here for these two players, two substitutes, to make an impact, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're taking Dessers, Eagman on, who should be your goal scorers, but I think Barry and his staff have got to try something,
Young Finlay Curtis coming on alongside the Romanian Hadji, but if they can help somehow salvage something from this game, then will go down as a master stroke. The ball's played into the box. There's a header Rascan though from Tavernier and behind for a goal kick, and simply nothing that Rangers have tried this afternoon has come off as the stands round about us empty quickly. The fans really have seen enough, and well, if there's to be a takeover in the summer, then a lot of work needs to be done to transform the fortunes of this club, because clearly something is badly wrong, and it's been shown in the performances and results on the field. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a great result for Hibernian, but it will also allow Celtic, if they can win their next 2 games, to claim the title before the split. We'll have live coverage of their trip to St Johnstone, midday kick-off tomorrow here on Sports Sound. BBC Radio Scotland join us for that one, as Hadji picks up and gets it back to Tavernier, who goes back to Butland. We're in the final minute of the 90. Rangers 0, Hibernian 2. And Hibs are going to certainly retain third spot ahead of their final game before the split, which is the visit of Dundee to Easter Road a week tomorrow. And they will go into that with a 16-game unbeaten league run, as Tavernier picks up right hand side, tries to bring the ball under control. His touch deserts him, out of play for a goal kick. As we tick past the 90-minute mark, Ross Hardy, the fourth official, shows there are 7 minutes to play. The Hibs fans, well, on some occasions you would think they would greet that with a bit of disappointment, perhaps a bit of weariness, but really they've got nothing to worry about, you wouldn't have thought.
No, and you know, this is the second or third time I've been here when it's happened. The boards went up and it's been 7, 8, 9 minutes, whatever. And usually the Rangers fans would be, mind you, there's hardly any of them here now, but it would be, you know, all there is apathy.
Yeah, and that's almost worse than anger, isn't it? You can understand anger, but when apathy sets in, then there's something seriously wrong. And well, credit to those who have stayed, but you can't exactly blame those who have disappeared from the Ibrox stands, as Rangers get a free kick midway inside their own half.
I mean, Jack Butland, for me, I know he's played at a good level, but he looks like a bag of nerves. He looks like he doesn't want to go on the ball from pass backs.
Rangers have it through Jefty. 1 minute of the 7 added on and already come and gone, as Jefty switches play out to Tavernier and just manages to rise high enough to head that and bring it under control. Rascan on the right hand side with his arms aloft looking for options, looks for Bayrami, but Iredale's there first, and then knocked out of play by Abita down at the corner flag. Tavernier takes a quick throw in back to the Rangers captain from Bayrami, into Barron at the edge of the box. He battles away to try and keep it, but Abita's won it deep in his own territory, plays it forward. It's over Gale. Sterling tries to steer it to Suter. It's behind him. Out comes Butland, almost to the edge of the centre circle to get it to Suter, and out to the left hand side for Jefty. 5 minutes left of stoppage time as Curtis picks up on the left hand side. He's looked bright when he's come on in previous games, but he's run into trouble there in the shape of Triantis, who brings it forward for Hibernian. 2-0 they lead by, as the ball's played into Mariah Welsh. She was caught there by the backtracking Curtis. Hibs will have a free kick on the halfway line, and absolutely no rush for them, and it's going to be yet another feather in the cap, this, of David Gray.
Yeah, absolutely, you know, and they've thoroughly deserved it. You know, if you analyse the game a bit deeper, Rangers have had chances, but you know, Hibernian just have looked the more composed unit in possession of the ball and out of possession of the ball, and thoroughly deserved the 3 points. They look like the team that has a good bet to finish third in the Scottish Premier League this year.
Very much so. At this stage, you wouldn't bet against it. There's going to be a late change for Hibs, and it's going to be Warren O'Hara coming on to replace Chris Carden. I guess that will mean Lewis Miller just goes out to right wing back for the final few minutes, with O'Hara stepping into the back three, and Carden goes off on the far side and takes the claim of the Hibs fans there, and soon he and all his teammates will get another chance to go back over to that far corner and lap it up, because they are destined for the 3 points here with just 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes of added on time left to play. Hibs leading by 2-0. Down in the corner in front of those Hibs fans, Hibs looking to hold on to possession, Rangers trying to rob it from them. They've won themselves a throw in on the left hand side down near their own corner flag. Rangers to be taken by Jefte. More questions than answers certainly arising from this for Rangers as they prepare for a huge Europa League quarter-final on Thursday night here against Athletic Bilbao. We'll have live commentary of that one as well here on Sports Sound. But at the moment it's difficult to see how Rangers navigate their way through that tie.
Well, it's looking like, they need to get a draw or win it. I mean, if they get beat on Thursday night to 6 games at home in a row at Ibrox Stadium, that's utterly bizarre to lose 6-0.
Rangers have a free kick deep in their own half, but it's really a case of just looking for the final whistle here. There's absolutely no chance that Rangers are going to get a couple of goals back. Ibrox Stadium is virtually empty already. There's only a select band of fans have stayed for the final misery of the full-time whistle, which in some ways will put them out their misery. Barry Ferguson must be scratching his head. How can the team that goes to Celtic Park and wins 3-2 and plays, particularly in the opening 45, really well, goes to Istanbul and beats Fenerbahce 3-1, how are they capable of turning in performances?
Well, they had more chance to go in the counter-attack. I mean, I think today as well, though. I mean, Hibs have. It's been without the ball. They've been 5-4-1, almost 5-4-1. But I tell you what, when they've been able to get up the pitch again, they've flooded bodies forward and they've done it at pace. Their second goal was like that. But they are better at Rangers when I know it seems like a really easy thing to say, but they're better when teams are sitting in against them. Sorry, when teams are trying to press and they've got more of the ball. They're better when it breaks down and they can get at teams. All the best performances have come in games like that.
Sure. No, you say Hibs have got the balance just right. They've sat in when required, but they've got forward to great effect as Rangers take a free kick into the Hibs penalty area. Comes out to Bayrami, right hand side, stands up to the back post. Hibs again keeping them out. Hadji's kept it in on that left hand side, trying to get the ball back into the danger area. Hibs desperate to keep a clean sheet and hold on to the 2-goal victory, and it's played back in but behind for a goal kick, and Hibernian edging ever closer to the 3 points. 96.5 minutes on the clock, and it's Rangers 0, Hibernian 2.
Listen, I think they are worth it. I think they're well worth it. I mean, when you analyse it a little bit deeper, Rangers could have, Cyril Dessers had another 3 or 4 chances today, but Hibs, for me anyway, deserved their win.
Yeah, they've defended brilliantly as much as anything. Yeah, Dessers has had a couple of chances, and Bayrami had that one that he rattled off the crossbar. Could have been a different outcome had he managed to just steer that under the crossbar instead, but all the credit from this 90 plus minutes has to go the way of David Gray and Hibs, and they are about to celebrate the victory here at Ibrox. Those who have remained in the Rangers end boo the team off, but it's Hibs who celebrate. The couple of thousand fans away on that far side justifiably delighted by the end of a 7-year wait for the 3 points at Ibrox Stadium, and Hibs very, very good value for it. Goals in either half from Dylan Levitt and then Martin Boyle in the second period consign Rangers to a 5th consecutive defeat at home, and Hibernian stretch their unbeaten run in the league to 16 games, retain their 3rd place in the Premiership, and the good feeling in green and white in the Hibernian ranks just goes on, and they will rightfully go across and take the acclaim post-match of their travelling supporters, who at long last are able to come to Ibrox and celebrate a victory. The scratching of heads at Ibrox will go on as they wonder how to put things right, but it's gone drastically wrong for them yet again here at home. But Hibernian will take the plaudits, and rightly so. It finishes at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Hibernian